Whoa! Mern is a butterfly. Yo, can't wait to talk about that. Right now, you're watching Podly, the official companion podcast to the show Peacemaker from HBO Max and DC. And we have a jam-packed show for you today. Not only are we going to do our usual breakdown, but we're going to be interviewing Freddie Stroma, a.k.a. Vigilante, and we have fun. I'm going to just let you know right now. Buckle up. It's going to be a good episode.
Why is there a bald eagle in your car?
That's Eagle.
Eagly is your pet eagle.
Yeah.
Is your dog named Doggy?
All right.
Do you have a daughter named Daughtery?
Welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of Podly, the official Peacemaker companion podcast brought to you by HBO Max and DC. I'm Fiona Nova.
And I'm Nwadiwe.
And we're just going to be chatting about some conspiracy theories. Ooh, some twists and turns. This was like a twisty episode. And also we have an amazing guest, Freddie Stroma here. Yes. We're going to get some insight on him playing Vigilante, on just like story-wise, like how it was to be this amazing and funny character.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, this is going to be a great episode. We have so many things to talk about.
We're jumping into it.
Let's talk about it.
We come off, and we're wondering what happened, the aftermath of the whole like fight between, them and the butterflies, which we learn are actual butterflies.
They are actually butterflies. What were you expecting?
Well, I thought it meant like meta, the metahumans, because from back in episode 1 when he's fighting her, but then now we see this happen, and we have like a lot of people's going through it. Afraid to shoot.
Exactly. But I also feel like this episode has a lot more establishing relationships now.
Oh yeah.
I know like we have like a really nice moment with Leota, and we're starting to see more emotional turmoil that's happening in the show. And okay, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I want to talk about that plot twist that happened.
Let's jump right into it.
Let's talk about that plot twist, because did you expect that?
No, not at all.
I didn't. But then when that happened, I was like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense.
Well, to me, I don't know, because now I'm wondering the question, is this a new development?
Yeah.
Is this did this happen this episode? How long has he been a butterfly? Like that, it's just unlocks so many new questions that it just makes me want to jump into the next episode.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's like it kind of makes sense, but it kind of doesn't.
It didn't. I wasn't expecting it, but when it happened, I think I expected it.
Yeah, because
which is weird.
At this point, we're killing the butterfly.
Yeah.
So if he's a butterfly, why would he be in on it? So I'm wondering if somewhere in this episode that happened.
Yeah. And what do you think about this episode? How are you feeling about it? I mean, there's we jumped through a lot of things. Just like we said, it's an emotional episode. There's a lot of things happening.
It's funny that we are going to talk to Freddie Stroma Vigilante, because I think we established Vigilante as a badass.
Yeah.
Because he goes and gets arrested, and they're like, oh no, your dad, he's a trained killer. He's not, and he dispatches 3 white supremacists, which I can watch white supremacists getting beat up nonstop. Give me the 10-hour cut, James. But he's very funny, and he makes fun of them and just kicks their ass. And because you were worried for him going into it, and then after that, he kicks his ass, and then his dad immediately onto it was like, nope, you're trying to get an excuse to be able to kill me. I'm not saying. And then he slips up by saying you're a bad dad, which
sometimes the truth hurts.
The truth
and
hurts,
it needs to be said.
And he cares about Peacemaker.
Exactly.
He went in there for peace. He's a good friend. You know?
Yeah. He's a sidekick that I would have liked.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
that makes it sound like you had a sidekick that you didn't like.
Yeah, maybe I have, and you don't know that. Okay, well, you don't have to call me out like that.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to expose your secret identity.
Don't expose my secret identity.
Use that weird voice that he was using. I'm not. I'm not. Who are you talking? I don't know.
Well, he has to do what he has to do, I guess.
I take it you're Vigilante.
No?
You sound like him.
No, I don't.
That's a fake voice.
Nope.
It changed from what it was 2 seconds ago.
I was about to cough. But yeah, this is more my real voice.
Right.
To me, he is so believable as a person who wants to be a hero.
It's grounded in some way, right?
Oh yes, so many ways. Like that person would be super hyper focused into hiding his identity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we're gonna be talking to Freddie Stroma, and I mean, Vigilante. It seems like, would you think this episode was probably his spotlight time?
Well, I think he got a nice spotlight in this, but we also get deeper into Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like something we got to really consider is like we're coming into this show after Peacemaker is kind of the revealed big bad at the end of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of work that James is doing in this show to kind of give us some backstory, kind of like win Peacemaker over as like a hero. And I think we've seen it at this point.
We're understanding where he stands, or like how he became who he is at the moment. How about like Judo Master escaping? I mean, we've been new.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've been new. I don't think this guy's like so OP.
I know it's so funny because every fight scene with Judo Master is so fun, and just ever since you just see him eating those Cheetos, and
the Cheetos are such a nice touch,
and it's just sassy.
It's
with
so
it.
sassy.
Yeah, doesn't want to share the Cheetos. Oh,
Man.
I love it.
Yeah, I think this episode was great.
So I definitely want to talk about that quantum unfolding storage area.
Yeah.
So one, we got a little taste of it, but we didn't know exactly what it was when, Peacemaker picked up some new helmets.
Yeah.
But a lot of big bombs were dropped when we went in there. I mean, one, we get the fact that how it works, and because it's so huge inside, that means that's a whole arsenal. And I don't know how much of it we're going to get to see this season, but that is a bunch.
Yeah.
But the other huge reveal is that his dad is the White Dragon, which is a DC Comics villain. That's a real villain, a superpowered member of the KKK, just out on full racism mode. He was in the Suicide Squad himself in the comic books.
Interesting.
So what I like here, just from like actually nerds out there, is you have James weaving the Peacemaker story with the White Dragon, because the comic book Peacemaker has this kind of this reckoning with the fact that he was raised by his father, who was like this Nazi guy. So James are combining these two lores to make this like new superpowered story that is even more exciting.
Right.
So
and do you think it's like since we saw that part of the White Dragon or the dad, like do you think he's going to be kind of like this really big threat? Do you think he's the big bad in this?
I don't know if it's the season's big bad. I mean,
but it's going to be one of them.
Yeah, all these butterflies.
Yeah, you dust that bad boy off and you put it on. You squeeze yourself in there.
I mean, you make a good point. Nothing was dusty in the quantum storage area, so obviously
it's been used.
The atoms or something.
The atoms, or there's good ventilation or something in there,
because those helmets are still shiny.
Oof.
There's not a speck of dust on anything.
Not a speck of dust. Well, it is kind of just a powerful thing. So who knows? Maybe it's dust repellent. So I feel like he's not the big bad of the season, but he is one of the big bads. So he's going to be this kind of threat to Peacemaker and the crew.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, listen, we got Freddie Stroma here, who's we're just gonna get some insight on Vigilante as a character, how he liked to play it, and just some other things that we could talk about. I'm gonna ask him all kinds of questions. He's gonna be begging to leave.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, please, no more.
Yeah.
And let's just ask him some questions. So Freddie Stroma. Hello, everyone. We are joined by the lovely Freddie Stroma here. We're so excited to talk to him. I mean, we've got a bunch of questions to ask him, but I've got to ask Freddie. This was kind of like an unexpected, emotional episode. How did it feel to act in such like an emotional and vulnerable state?
I mean, for me, Adrian or Vigilante was, it wasn't too bad. Like I had maybe that, there's one scene with Jen that, in the car, but I actually, I didn't even know to the level that when we were shooting on the day, James kind of was like, okay, so we want to bring it to here. And he kind of showed me the montage of stuff that he'd shot. I was like, oh, wow, this is some emotional stuff. But other than that scene, it wasn't really too much for me. I got to just have a lot of fun.
You're just a natural. You could say that. You're just a natural. You're just so good.
You know.
Yeah, because it definitely felt that way, especially because like the Adrian, version of Vigilante you're playing has like kind of a dark storyline in the original source material, and like I feel like you carry that weight almost so much that I was like so afraid for you. I was like, what was gonna happen? Don't I love him?
Yeah, it's a funny that he's just so kind of, you just have no idea what he's going to do or what he's thinking, which is always fun to play. There's just so many different levels that it's fun to be in that place where you just have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, and so since you're masked up the entire time, what do you do your own stunts? I mean, obviously you can lie, we won't know, but
well, I will say, so for any of the stunts that you see that are like insane, definitely not me. There was some stuff in episode 4. I got to do a lot of that fighting. I think a lot of the stuff from what I've seen is me, is kind of my stuff. But we had such an insanely good stunt team, and they perform it all as well, and then they can kind of use bits and pieces. But it's always good to try and get the actor's face in there, so it's not too obvious.
I guess you've had some serious in-depth questions about the performance and acting. I think mine's is of the same caliber, and I want to ask, how do you feel a duck would disguise itself as a human?
Amazing question, Iffy. Great job. We love to hear it.
If it walks like a duck, that's all I'm saying.
The fuck's that supposed to mean?
If it walks like a duck, it's either a duck or a duck wearing some type of human costume. I don't know. He's unable to hide his distinctive walk.
How the fuck could that even happen?
How would what happen?
A duck in a human costume? The sizes are completely incompatible.
I don't know. Ducks are sneaky, I guess. I guess that's the whole point of the phrase. That, and they could give two shits about their best friend's pinky toe.
You know what? There is actually a very obvious duck that is masquerading as a human, and he's doing a terrible job. Because if you go and you win 23 gold medals in swimming, and then you're trying to claim that you're a human. Michael Phelps is a duck.
Michael Phelps, exactly.
I think you're right, especially with the wingspan being longer than most humans. I'm like, that's just a wing.
That man can fly.
That guy, he's duck or water, or he's too fast.
That guy is too fast for his own good. Yeah. Well, so in the episode, it seems like I just want to ask, because if you were to break into a jail, what do you think you would do?
Well, obviously nothing bad that would hurt
Nothing
anyone.
bad. Okay. Well, you have to do something bad to get into jail, but I get it. I understand.
I'd have to. Maybe I'd start like a food fight in a food hall. Maybe it would have to get pretty violent to get arrested. I feel like
you will go to jail for starting that.
Honestly, I was a big fan of the way you as Vigilante did it in the show, because we've all had that scenario in our head where we're like, if someone I want to beat up is in jail and I need to get in jail, well, I would rob a bank. But I think it's pretty simple. It's like, no, I'm gonna throw a trash can at a window and a bunch of guys.
Easy W.
Yeah, they'll put you in there for at least a couple.
A couple hours.
You only want to be there for like maybe a couple of days. You don't want like a full prison break scenario where you fired a guard. You're like, oh well, you're actually going to be in it for like a good few years. Oh crap!
Oh, that backfired. We all know that, of course, Vigilante is a superhero. But if you were a supervillain, who would be in your coterie of
coterie
of supervillains?
We were looking up that word with Freddie, and I was like, I need to hear how it sounds.
Yeah, because you were gonna like overpronounce it.
I was gonna overpronounce it, absolutely.
And that's kind of like, I guess, the people that I'm trying to, I'm fighting against, my like the worst super villains. When you land in an airplane and then you're supposed to stand up, and then you get someone who stands up, and then they just start walking down the aisle trying to get a few seats ahead.
Oh, I feel you.
He's on my list.
Yes,
he's on my list.
Good one.
The guy who you open a door, and people go through, and then the person who's on his phone, and then doesn't acknowledge, doesn't say anything, and just walks through. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
That guy, he's on the list.
He's on the list.
And Hitler, that's about right.
Yeah, good answer. And if you didn't say that, I would have been like, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's redo your list real quick.
Yeah.
There are some other people.
And other black people who don't return the head nod. You're on my super.
You are.
My super
You're absolutely
I
correct.
nodded at you.
You're right.
There's a secret agreement we have, and you don't nod back. You're working for the.
You're right.
You're
right.
They're up to something.
Yeah.
They're butterflies.
Well, yeah, they're butterflies. Well, speaking of, I mean, we have a question for you, but I think if you should take it because you were talking about this scene that you really loved. It was your favorite scene of the episode.
I know you were acting, but what is your favorite contribution made by black people? We would love to know, especially someone from over the pond. So you came in.
I mean, I would probably, kind of what Vidge was saying. I like that. That's the influence on music, just to bring in blues and jazz, and to just like added the third, the fifth, and the seventh, and then to just completely change the landscape of music.
Yeah.
And then that affects, it was, I think Muddy Waters came over to the UK and it had a huge effect. It just changed everything. And now it's all that I listen to. I'm sure, there's in my room, but like, it's pretty much mostly what we listen to. And I can't, that's like that I personally gain from every single day by everything I listen to.
That was a good answer. That was a good answer.
I'm definitely going to send you your Ally medal.
You'll get it in the mail.
A couple days. You can use it in any instance.
And we'll also send a card.
Yeah, a
you
card.
You can present that card.
And you know what you'll be able to say.
Yeah, you'll be able to say it.
One time they punched the ticket. Yeah, they punched the ticket and take the card.
Well, okay, speaking of music, John Cena does this like kind of sad dance. And we loved it because it was great.
Oh yeah.
But we wanted to know, like, what's your go-to sad track or sad song that you like listen to and you're just bummed out,
I mean, I want to say "Wicked Game" by Chris Isaac because it's just ridiculous. Like, I love it. It's a great song. I'm not mocking it. It's just to me visually, that's a great one to just cry to. But I mean, I think sometimes there's a song outro by M83 or M83 that I sometimes I listen to. Like I do know. Yes. Like an emotional scene like that gets me going though. But that's like a more legit one.
You feel like the main character.
Yeah.
You're listening to it and you're like, oh.
But also,
I'm in it.
Yeah, we got some insight. So when you got an emotional scene, you'll kind of listen to music and get yourself.
Yeah, if you need to get to that place, and like sometimes in the past you had different roles. If you have to really get to like the emotional spot, sometimes music really helps just kickstart everything.
I feel that, and like I think I had this other question that I kind of want to know, like how do you feel playing Vigilante? Did you know a lot about that character beforehand? Or like, how do you feel to be him? Like, really?
It's tough because he's had so many different iterations. Like, he's been a cowboy, he's been a lawyer, he's been so many different things. And so it's at the end of the day, I kind of had to just go with what was on what James had created. So, and I got the 8 episodes in one, which is very rare in TV, but James is a writing beast and he just had it all done. And so I got to just go off what he created. Like, a lot of the other stuff wouldn't have worked.
Of course.
It was just a different character. So it's his kind of interpretation that I was going off of.
You're like killing it as Vigilante. I'm like, I think you're like the perfect fit. You're doing such a great job being him.
And just the heart you bring to the character. You just want to especially like what I find that's fun about the way you and John play off of each other is I feel like y'all are kind of the same but from different spectrums where you have this like you're trying to be this good person, but you are just murderous. And it feels like he's on the side where like he comes from this like evil, but he's trying to be good. So y'all are meeting in the middle, and y'all, I just truly so many times I've just bust out loud laughing.
It's really
So. It's a lot of fun. I mean, James's writing is it's all from there, and just every time. I mean, I read it, I was just laughing as I would read the script and then you get to set, and then he gives you different alts, and then you're laughing even more, and it's just it's such a joy.
I
to
can
work
only
on.
imagine the amount of laughter and just like
Oh yeah.
breaking of character that would happen from like during this entire show. So
Yeah, no, I would have immediately broke when you started making those faces when your mask was taking off.
Oh man, James, he was like, I need you to make the most embarrassing faces you can make. And I was like, and I've kind of like, I've sort of trained for this my whole life. I've always like, I remember doing when I was a kid with my sisters, like, who can make the ugliest face? And we'd always try and make stupid faces. And I was like, well, I'm trained for this moment. I was like, I'm giving it everything I got. So I'm sure there'll be some GIFs or GIFs that'll come out of that one.
No, that will be. Prepare to
Yeah.
see that for
and
the rest of your
it'll be
career.
Iffy.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Iffy
it'll
will
be
be
me.
starting the
I actively have the GIF ready to go once they say we can
once
talk
they
about the
see.
show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God.
All right, so Freddie, Vigilante is like maybe possibly the funniest character.
Yeah.
It's like neck and neck.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, what is your comedic timing, and are you funny?
Oh no, not at all. It's funny. I do have like I kind of looked over my career and started realizing that like I'm mostly in like comedies or rom-coms, and there's kind of a through line. But I got to experiment a lot about a year ago. I did my first live studio audience. It was a show called The Crew on Netflix, and with Kevin James, and we did like I got to really try that out, and it was eye-opening and just really, really fun. And then I'd like to say that it's my comedic timing, but when you get the script that James writes, and then you've got John is just incredible.
Yeah.
And such an incredible improviser. And then you've got James throwing out even funnier alts like over the mic, like while you're rolling and doing different takes. Like it's a lot of those guys is what makes Vigilante so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I feel. Listen, don't put yourself down. I feel like you might be funny. Actually,
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard
like
to do
you said,
comedy. Yeah,
you've got the track record to prove it.
You've got there's a reason you keep getting picked for these.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, take it. Take the compliment.
Yes.
I would.
All right, before we go, we have one last question for you, which of course we had to get it through the Eagly Mail.
Ooh, Eagly Mail. Nice.
Okay, so this one is a question reaction from the community, and this one today is asking about some personal growth and development. Peacemaker seems to be a story of personal redemption, and despite one's imperfections, trying to become a better person. What are the personal flaws that you've overcome or are working on overcoming?
Oh, wow.
Wanted to get
Anyways,
inside.
did you expect this to be a therapy session, Freddie?
Yeah. Oh, I did not. Okay. I feel like procrastination is something I'm constantly battling. So, it's the don't take the marshmallow, wait 50 minutes to get the other one. It's just, that's like something I'm always battling. And I think it spreads to all aspects of life. That's probably the thing that I'm always battling, which I think most humans are, but, I'm not going to make a movie about it. Like the guy on the couch is like, should I not play this game on my phone? Find out next week. Like, it's just not that's probably my main battle of personal growth.
Well, hopefully seeing James Gunn crank out 8 scripts before it's that quick will help you get over procrastination.
Yeah.
Because whatever procrastination is, James has the opposite.
Yeah, he has the opposite. He can just create like absolute gold, and he can do it in like a day. He'll just pump it all out.
We can't all
like,
be
it's insane.
James Gunn.
Yeah.
Well, Freddie, thank you so much.
Yes, please.
We loved having you here, chatting with you. You are killing it. And, we've said it this entire time, but seriously, you are, and we're loving the show. So thank you for spending your time with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll chat later.
Yeah.
I want some funny jokes from you later.
Yeah. I'll send you that invite to my improv group.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see you
You'll
on
get that in
stage.
the mail as well.
Yeah.
We'll see you later, Freddie.
All right. See you later. Thank you.
The big hand is on the 3, so it's time for another Peace Prize for episode 4. Ooh. What you got bubbling up?
I feel like the Leota and Peacemaker scene.
Yeah, I think you're right because especially like we said, we start off with Leota kind of coming to terms with the fact that she couldn't kill someone, and in that same moment, you had Peacemaker afraid of that too. So they are more similar than they think. Yeah, and to have this moment where she's able to get through to him in a way I don't think we've seen anybody able to get through to him this whole season yet, by kind of tapping into what we're slowly learning might be a suppressed memory.
Yep, that is very true. And I mean, it's an emotional, I think, like just like we said before, this episode kind of carried its emotional weight, or getting to know the characters more, the relationships between them. And I think we've always kind of hinted at Leota and Peacemaker kind of being that duo. And relating to themselves. I know Peacemaker like trusts her.
So the award of the week, the Eagly Hug Award, goes to the scene between Leota and Peacemaker outside the prison.
So good, so warm, and so wholesome. I think it deserved it.
Yeah,
we love emotional turmoil.
Yeah, it feels like an Eagly Hug.
It feels like an Eagly Hug.
You can't just abandon him in there. I have to go talk to him.
Do you? Really? Look, we all know what he's done to you.
You don't know shit.
We do. It's in your files, Chris.
It's Chris now?
How he's treated you your whole life.
What's it say?
Well, we all want to believe that our parents are flawed but innately good, and maybe, usually, that's the case. But not here. Your dad is not a good man. Not to the world, and especially not to you.
Still family.
Chris.
It was great. Yeah. I think that was a great scene. And I just think Danielle Brooks is like an amazing Leota, and she just kind of nails it.
Well, just such a stellar actress. And like I said, I've been on the Brooks train since
we've been on the Brooks train
for a while. Yeah. And so like to see her really like show out the way she has in this series, it's like great. Yeah. Like everyone's gonna be trying to cast her, and I'm so excited for that.
A warm Eagly Hug is what we call it. Yes. The Eagly Hug Award.
Right before we witness Vigilante go break bones.
That's the show.
Yeah. And if you want to get tapped into the source material, make sure you sign up for DC Universe Infinite, which will give you access to all the Peacemaker comics, Suicide Squad, and everything in between.
And we've got some sweet merch. Go to shop.dccomics.com for the latest drops. You don't want to miss it.
Also, don't forget to go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure you comment and tell us your favorite moments from the episode.
Solid.
And make sure you stream new episodes of Peacemaker and our Podley podcast on HBO Max, okay? See y'all next time. I'm Nwadiwe.
And I'm Fiona Nova. Catch you next week.